morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh.
And Lucas.
Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
Wakey, wakey.
Ha! I still got the touch. Although I haven't actually confirmed that Lucas is truly here and not just some weird internet glitch that shows him in the call, because I've not actually heard his voice. But good morning and welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com, simulcasting here on YouTube and Facebook, maybe Twitter. I don't know. Restream said maybe Twitter, maybe not. And there's a few other places, Odyssey, D-Live. Soon to be Rockfin, fingers crossed. We'll see. Waiting to hear back. But good morning, fellas. What's happening? How's your weekend?
Yeah, not too bad.
Hi.
There he
There's
is.
the man.
Oh, I'm back. I was like talking to you guys or saying hello, and it's like, well, anyway, I'm back. Yeah, I just didn't have my thing switched on, so that thing.
Yeah, and I know all about that thing.
Yeah, if you don't switch it on, it sometimes just doesn't work.
Uh.
I don't know if you can hear that siren in the background. I don't know what's going on, but I'll just tune out for a second.
Yeah, I can hear it. I hope China hasn't attacked Australia.
No.
Do you guys have like tornado alarms or anything like that?
No tornadoes. I think it's just a fire station. It's actually not that far away from me, so I don't know.
How you been?
I don't know why there'd be a fire going on.
Maybe a fire at the fire station.
Yeah. Maybe just
What's
test
going
run.
on, man?
I don't know.
How's the garden coming along out there?
It's good. Yeah, I've been busy on the garden. I got eggplants in, zucchinis, cucumbers, couple of hundred tomatoes and all that sort of stuff. So, busy planting and seeding, and I just harvested half a bed of spinach, and it was like filled nearly. It would be probably about 3 garbage bags full of spinach.
I love it. I eat spinach by the handfuls. I don't use
so
lettuce.
I sort of don't know what to do with it. We're going to have to freeze it or something. I don't know.
Does it really freeze that well? I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think
freeze it, perhaps.
Yeah, chop it up real fine, and then
blanch it.
You can freeze it. I think.
Blanch it, steam it real quick, and then I suppose they do sell frozen spinach at the grocery store. Yeah, they sure do.
Good for soups or something, I think.
Yeah. Not much.
Do you ever use that in your smoothies? Spinach?
That's what Alex was telling me to do, and I was like, I suppose I could juice.
Oh
it or
yeah,
something.
that's one of my favorite smoothies out there. Are the green, like really grody looking ones? Those are the best tasting ones.
Yeah, I quit using lettuce on all my sandwiches. I only use spinach on my sandwiches these days for greenery and stuff like that. Sorry, interrupt.
Yeah, I've never used lettuce. I don't like lettuce, so I use spinach.
All right. Okay. Well, I usually try and grow it, but it fails miserably. I just don't seem to get the germination rate, but this time it worked, so I was pretty stoked. It's hit and miss when
It's
you know
meant to
for
be.
this farmer.
I'm not sure what the temperature is supposed to be in the soil for it to germinate. Because I know some seeds, once it gets so warm, they won't germinate. And I think spinach might be one of those. But I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up.
You're probably right. I mean, it does like the cold, and it's supposed to taste better once it gets a frost on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
all the
they say.
sugars start
Yeah.
going up into the plant. Same thing
Either
with your
way, I got plenty
tomatoes.
of it.
So 250 tomato plants? Good
Yeah,
Lord, you're gonna have tomatoes coming
about
out your
200, I think. Yeah, I got a couple of rows in the greenhouse, and then most of them outside. So they're 4 rows, and they've each got about, I don't know, 40 or something.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's going to be a lot of tomatoes. I mean, 5
Yeah,
plants is too much for like a family, unless you're canning and stuff like that. 5 tomato plants is a lot. But I know
most
you
of them
sell
are
it
cherry
and all that kind of
tomatoes.
stuff.
Yeah, I sell
but
it.
those are your
and
big
Alex
sellers.
uses a fair bit. Yeah, cherry tomatoes. Put them in a little packet. Sit them on the stall. They look perfect. People love them.
You know what? This guy up here in Indiana that I used to know down the road, organic farmer, he would take 3 pieces of lettuce, like kind of like spinach type lettuce. You know, the
like a
not your
decorative
big
kale.
Yeah, he'd take 3 of those. He'd put like a few cherry tomatoes inside and something else, maybe like a small cucumber or something, and he would just wrap that and he'd sell that for $5, and they would sell all day long down in Indianapolis. 3 pieces of lettuce, 3 cherry tomatoes, and a little cucumber in the middle, and just wrap it in like a rubber band, and that was someone's lettuce right there.
Okay.
Yeah, people would buy them up like crazy. So yeah, just little things like that. Think about stuff like that. Mixing
Yeah,
your
I don't know
products
how I'm going to
together and
go with
making
like all
a
the
meal.
markets. I don't know how I'm going to go with all the markets though this year. We'll just see. So I'm not doing jumping through their fucking hoops, man.
Yeah, fuck all that noise.
Yeah. Fucking, you want veggies? Come to me.
There you go. Build you a little stand out in the front.
Yep, right along the side of the road. Put the kids to work.
Put a little microphone out there. You could write your own sitcom with the stuff they're going to be talking about while they're sitting out there.
That's true. Yeah.
Shout out there to
How are
everybody in
things-
chat. Glad to see everybody there this morning. Ben, Allison. Yes,
Absolutely. And
Alex in
apparently
there.
everyone else has been struggling with the same struggle that I'm currently going through, trying to actually get in to the new TFR chat. Apparently we have to create a complete new whatever.
I hadn't even gone that far. I was lucky to get into the
Yeah.
vault, let alone into chat.
Right. I'm trying to see how all the new bells and whistles are ringing and whistling. So, but yeah, I'm working on it, but there's a problem that I can't surmount. So we're going to not worry about it and move on and say, hey, to that YouTube chat. Hey, YouTube chat. I'll see you guys. I've been typing. But yeah, spinach, Popeye, iron. I mean, what more do you want?
No.
Come on.
How was your weekend there, Walter?
Good. Really good. We had some pleasant weather, even though it started out kind of chilly on Saturday morning. We had a big kind of downtown in our small town art walk / Christmas craft fair / wooden boat show. What else was going on that day? Something else.
Is that
was
the
happening.
official name of it, or no?
There's not an official name that I know of really yet. Just that's
Like
the
the art
day.
crawl.
Yeah, they kind of
Everything happens.
were debuting the new pocket park they created where the theater used to be downtown. Just a few different things all kind of strung together as one event. Saw a lot of nice people out and about, quite free and clear. There were only a very small amount of idiot fucks that were just insistent on their fashion statement, I guess, at this point, because the mandate has been lifted in my state, so no one is required to
Yeah,
be
there's going to be
stupid.
people that'll wear these things
Right.
until
So that's
the
what I'm
day
saying.
they
So
die now.
they're choices. So they're choices. Anyway, but other than just the one or three of those, it was great. Great day, great weather. Sold a few things. I'm going to show you guys a picture in a minute when I can find one of this crazy idea Michelle came up with for an ornament literally the night before the event. I'll show you when I can find it. It's not on my computer yet. I just thought about showing you guys as I started talking about it. But yeah, it was fun. Saw some people land the scene in quite a while. Came to this close to doing some karaoke, but the setup and the place where they had it going was too crowded with like nowhere to sit, nowhere to be. And we'd already been on our feet some 8 or 9 hours. So it was time to take a load off. So we didn't actually go there, but it's good to know they're doing that downtown. They've opened a little ice cream shop and just all kind of nice things. So, but yeah, had a great weekend. How were you guys? How was yours there, Zach?
Oh, not too bad. I'm getting that fire lit under my butt to start practicing alchemy again. It's been calling me. Like right now, I have the bubbler going, the distiller going. As soon as I got up, I'm working on making essential oils, and it's really a process. It's not something that you hit a button and then it's done 10 minutes later or an hour later or 4 hours later. It's not that simple. Which brought me to a conclusion. I've been sitting here pondering this all weekend. I don't believe that we figured out as a human race any of this alchemical garb or any of this advanced knowledge that we know. I believe electricity came before all this stuff. I don't see somebody stoking a fire and keeping that temperature perfect for 18 months and bucketing cold water through something for 18 months, 24 hours. I don't think it would be possible to do the things that they claim they did with all these different alchemical apparatus. I don't think it could be done without electricity. I mean, it could be, but I mean, there was supposedly hundreds of alchemists back in the day and this and that and blah, 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 blah. With all the knowledge that we have and all this stuff, I don't think there's any way they did it with little rinky-dink. It's like building these giant cathedrals with wooden carts in dirt roads. It's not possible in my opinion. I don't think so. That's
Nah,
one
man.
thing I had today.
That's like,
over the weekend.
well, I found that thing, or there was articles written about in Sanskrit of them talking about how to build a battery and then how to do electrolysis with, and this is how many batteries you need to make and put it together and you can do electrolysis with water. I mean, that's written in Sanskrit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how old's that?
Well, yeah. And Voltaire and Watts and all these guys. The guy who figured out the DNA sequence, he read Sanskrit. And he figured it out right around the 1860s. Imagine that. Right when Voltaire and all these guys were figuring out all this stuff about electricity.
Yep. Same. Like I thought it was like the Royal Society or something like that they just basically got a bunch of Sanskrit texts and said, right, you guys read this and work it out and we'll put your name on it if you figure something out. Like, Galvani and Volta. That's why I don't even like calling it a volt, a galvanic cell. It's like that.
Yeah, I want to know
didn't
who
make it.
really came up with it exactly.
Yeah. I want a better name for it.
But yeah, our whole history is so skewed that when you actually start thinking about all this stuff, when you start trying to apply what they did back then without electricity today, I know I'm not buying it. You can try to sell that story to somebody else because no, I wouldn't do it. I mean, just think, why would you do something for like 18 months long doing that? Unless, I don't know how to explain it, but people usually don't go and do things 10 times longer than they would think that it needed to be done. And to just have
No,
the
not
notion,
unless you just had it sitting there, you know. It's
yeah,
just
on
like
accident.
turn it on and like, oh,
Oops,
I
I
went
forgot
on a
about that.
holiday.
Yeah.
I come back and holy shit, that worked. How long was I gone for?
Oh shit, 18 months? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the fire just kept going for 18 months. The cold water condenser just kept running itself for 18. No, there's no way. So yeah, it's, gosh, we've been lied to on such a scale. I bet we could find this in everything. We go back and figure out how they started doing stuff and then actually try to apply that the way they said they did it. And I'm not saying that it can't be done, you know, but you would need a team of people, at least 3 people 24 hours a day, keeping an eye on all this stuff. It's just, and that's not just watching it, it's actually,
Yeah, but that's how they built the
working.
pyramid, Zach. You know, teams of slaves hauling things on, rolling on pieces of wood. One dude, all he needed was a whip. And same with alchemy. Just a team of people stoking the fire. All he needed was a whip. Come in every now and again. Get back to stoke that fire.
The whip
The
of
stuff
science.
they're doing is so perfect too. I mean, you look at this stuff that supposedly the slaves built. I don't know. This whole idea of slavery, I'm having an issue with it as well.
Yeah, that's really bad. We should end it. I've got an issue with slavery.
No, the idea how many
Is that like
slaves to how many
Fed?
slave
Is that in-
masters. It's hard to imagine that many people just saying, okay, yep, you own me. I'm not going to defend myself. There's 1,000 of us and there's only 3 of you. But yeah, you can sit there and whip us.
Seems strange, doesn't it?
It does.
Who would think that take a huge population of people and they could be brainwashed into thinking just a few powerful people can control and command that entire population willingly?
And them not rise up and do something about it.
That's the willingness.
Quite shocking.
That's the
I think
willingness.
we're talking about the Federal Reserve again, aren't we? Or what? Usury, or it's come full circle. That's it.
Yeah, it's
We'll
just
pay
hard
you
to fathom.
with this money we print.
We'll loan it to you at interest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't ask where you're going to get the money to pay back the interest is, because we're not loaning you that part. We only loan you the principal. So it's just a perpetual.
Yeah, there's been a lot in the Federal Reserve over the last month. They've been getting caught doing insider trading and early trading and all this stuff to where they're now passing laws to where they can't do that. It's like, really, guys? You guys have only been around for 110, 108 years now, and you're deciding now that someone should look into this?
I'm sure yeah, that's right. Business as usual. Move on.
Mm-hmm. Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain. And then they march
But
Janet
you
Yellen out
you
there.
can do that every now and again, though. Like you can say, "Oh, look, you know, we're getting investigated," and it gives you a good, you know, everyone thinks, "Oh, they must be legitimate. Then they're getting investigated." Let alone the people that's investigating them on their payroll.
Yeah, they're getting investigated by themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like police doing an internal affair with no video evidence and no any of this other stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, whatever the cop said, that's pretty much how it went then.
We've investigated it ourselves and determined that we've done nothing wrong.
Yeah. You all have a nice day. Yeah, it's crazy out there. Just all the nonsense.
Just a little. How was your weekend there, Josh?
Yeah.
Mine was very quiet. She wasn't feeling well. I was just sort of.
How's she feeling now? Is she getting any better?
Seems to be getting better, she thinks.
Good.
Near as we could tell.
Sending lots of love, even though I was preoccupied over the weekend. You guys were in my thoughts. For sure. Oh, the weekend. I did pull up that picture here. Let me show you guys. Hold on. It was pretty cute. She had been making pom-poms to do a rug and then just got bored with it. So she made a wreath out of them and then was trying to figure out just what else could she do with these pom-poms that the cats obviously want to play with. So she made, well, Lord, I have lost it completely now. This guy. I thought he was apropos for our little meetings. He seemed to fit right into the rest of the crew here. Dude, that's just a pom-pom, a piece of clay, and a piece of like strip of some ribbon she found, and it turned into a hippie. I don't know. I just think that's some creative shit.
That was brilliant.
I bet those cats love that thing.
Yes, they're all over the house, and when they get a hold of one, they just start tearing it to pieces. So we have little tiny snippets of yarn everywhere in drifts.
Yeah, they haven't made an indestructible dog toy yet. They claim they had a couple. My last dog put them to the test. That was his goal, to destroy all toys. And yeah, it took him maybe 2 weeks, but he tore through that. I think it was fire hose or fireman
right
jacket material, like super. Yeah, it's supposed to be real durable and strong. But I mean, he was an 82-pound dog, and he used to just put his front paws on his toys and then just pull up with his head as hard as he could. And he would just do that over and then shake it, of course, shake it, run and throw it, and then step on it and pull and just try to rip. He did that with everything. So yeah, there are no indestructible dog toys. So don't feel bad that the cats are shredding that apart, because yeah, there was a couple remnants of this little, it was called a flappy. It was just a squeeze toy in the center with canvas around it and then some frilly ends. Yeah, the boys finally got rid of the last frilly end yesterday. And we found a little pile of puke with some of Flappy in it. We're like, yep, Flappy's definitely done now. You guys can't be swallowing this stuff.
Don't eat Flappy.
No. So today I got to go buy some more new toys for the boys. But yeah, wow, that whole first segment just flew by right there.
It did. That's pretty well.
Wait, what?
Pretty well it. Yeah. Pretty well.
Ian says that's how he eats steak. That's good. I was just picturing that.
Mark,
so I haven't seen a whole lot in space news lately. Have you noticed that? I mean, of course,
actually, they had quite an event that I did my best to enjoy last night, but apparently I was a bit late, or they were a bit early, or it didn't really happen. One or the other. Do we have time for this? Not really. When we get back, I'll tell you guys all about my little space adventure that I had about 9:30 last night.
I was going to try. I couldn't stay up. That's
was
too
up,
late for me.
So since I was up and stressing, I said, hey, I can go outside and look at the sky. So I did. And I waited and I waited and I waited. What was supposed to happen was whatever fakery they were promoting that was going to land last night from space was going to flash and bang and like streak across our sky and cause sound waves and sonic booms and all kind of fun things. Between 9:30ish or 9:15, 9:40ish, somewhere like that. So I went out about 10 after 9 and waited around, looked around, waited. I was out in the cane fields in the complete dark, so there's no way I would have missed anything. In fact, I saw a few planes, unusual activity that's, late night here, strange stuff. But no SpaceX splashdown. And I kept checking the tracker app and suddenly, boom, they were in the Florida waters. And I'm like, Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, okay. So whatever was supposed to happen must have happened seconds before I stepped out of my car to look up into the sky. And for 40 minutes, nothing came across my sky. But hey, I'm just a ground-based observer, I guess. So no pictures, no video. I was excited. I was going to have all kind of cool things to show y'all, but no. Apparently, they were early. Apparently, they left space a bit early last night. You know how it is when you're hungry.
Well, yeah, they
Before we
wanted to
get
beat
home.
that traffic.
There's all that Mexican
know?
food. Gotta hustle.
Come on, ice cream.
Taco.
Yeah, there was some big news from federal courts I'd like to get into after the break coming up right here. Good news. Some rationally thinking individuals are changing some stuff around at least the U.S. here, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. If you want to hear about it, you got to hold on, Walt. You got to come back for the next segment.
Okay.
Just saying.
I mean, we should be hearing break music. What are the chances we hear commercials? What are the odds?
Are we talking through a commercial?
Not yet.
In 1 second. My name's Ella.
Drink. And I am blah, 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 the sheeple virus. I'll go check TFR, see if they're playing commercials.
Just be you taking the piss out of it the whole way through.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, they're playing. I just went and checked.
Ah.
We're extend dividing even as we speak.
So do they hear us talking too?
Most likely.
Oh, shut up.
I mean, it says muted, but no. hell was that? Oh, I think I remember what I did there. All right.
Coffee.
That'll do. And short of anything else, we'll just call that back. And welcome back to the Ironworx, where there may or may not be commercials depending on where you're listening. Otherwise, that was just some really awkward silence. But not for nothing, that's how I like my silences. Nice and awkward.
Not for nothing, they're actually playing our intro music over there on the TFR live stream.
Are they?
Yeah, our bumper music's playing right now, or
Right on.
seconds ago it was. So, not really sure where the disconnect is happening from what we're getting in our headphones that lets us, stay on top of our show and what everybody else is actually hearing out there in the live world. Bit disconcerting.
It's all right. Look, I'm not the professional that is DJ Dimitri Darko. Who was bumping the tunes as I was getting ready for the show this morning.
All right. Well, a federal court of appeals, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Have you guys heard about this?
Mm-hmm.
No,
They
sure.
They put a pause on the Biden vax mandate to stop its Stalin-esque attack on Americans. So all these employers who have 100 employees and are being told by January 4th or 5th, whichever day it is, that they have to have their shots or they have to be tested and you're going to have fines and this and that. It's illegal. It's not how things work. So the court has put a kibosh on it, at least for now. They're saying none of this has now. Employers have the right to do whatever they want, especially if you're not in the Fifth Circuit. I think we're broken up into 11 or 12 different.
It seems a little bit high, but
Different circuit.
Well, I know there's an 11th Circuit Court. That's us down here in.
Oh, I thought you were going to be talking about the size of the fifth number of states within the Fifth Circuit.
No, I'm saying the different circuit courts around the country. We're broken into
Gotcha.
What are they called? Like Hunger Games type zones, pretty much.
District, yeah.
District, yeah. So I'm not sure where District 5 is even out of. The Gulf Coast centric.
It's the Florida, Georgia, Mississippi. That's the district that you hear Rogue Nation quoting all the time. When he does a lot of his audits, when they're out there auditing the public there in the South, typically. Again, Florida, Georgia. It's the city versus the city of Cumming is the case law that they use to be able to record public officials within the course of their public duties as a matter of public interest. And that's basically the verbatim there out of that state versus city of Cumming. They're in the Fifth Circuit.
Yeah, here's a quote I'd like to read. I'm not sure. I think this is just by the analyst, the Fox News analyst, but I love what she says here. Tommy Lauren praised the Gulf Coast-centric Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals for halting, at least temporarily, President Biden's Stalin-esque mandate enforced via OSHA that employers with more than 100 workers verify proof that each employee elected to be injected with a coronavirus vaccine or face termination. In a huge win in the fight for liberty, personal health, and medical freedom, states' rights, and the American values that underlie all of those aforementioned things, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has halted Biden's unconstitutional, tyrannical, and BS vaccine mandate for businesses. I like this lady. Well, at least what she wrote. And it was a Texas attorney, General Ken Paxton, for leading the legal effort to block what she said is a constitutionally dubious edict. DUBIOUSEDICT.
That's a
Dubious
type of
edict.
dubious edict. Yeah, I think that was probably supposed to be two separate words.
Okay.
That edict was very dubious, hence a dubious edict.
True.
Yeah, and Louisiana. South Carolina, he was joined in the effort by his colleagues in Utah, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Louisiana.
Yeah, Michelle sent me something literally like late last night, and I didn't really have time to read it. And I figured we would get into it once I found it again, but I'm glad you did.
And to make it even more communist friendly, this mandate would have weaponized OSHA, allowing them to send agents to businesses to check for compliance, and if not, be fined over $136,000, she said. What a not only unconstitutional but stupid thing to implement during a supply chain and worker shortage crisis. Yeah, I think people are starting to kind of wake up to this stuff. They're realizing that, hey, there aren't droves and droves of people dying in the street. To kind of shut down the whole world over the common cold. And
People are
it's time
getting it,
for to
you
stop.
reckon?
I think
2
so.
years?
I think
2 years. It's starting to sink in.
for some, at least.
I'm not
For
being
some.
facetious or anything.
No.
Yeah, some people just want to be really secure in their position before they change it.
I have till Friday. Friday's my deadline for the if I want to produce some sort of medical or religious exemption, I have till Friday to give it to them, or get vaccinated or get fired, I guess. So now my goal is
Which one? I'm just
look,
Flip a coin.
flip a coin, basically. Well, no. I mean, you can pull out, get vaccinated out. You have to flip a coin between, provide the exemption or get fired. Out of those, you can flip a coin. Now I'm looking for sort of long form religious exemptions. I don't feel like I would be adequately stating my case if my religious exemption was less than like 200 pages long.
I know Marty Leeds, he made his pretty full. He didn't half-ass any of it.
Yeah, I was going to try to reach out to Marty, see if I can't grab a hold of
And I know I had heard him say that at least one of the people that he wrote it for was accepted. And he was waiting to hear back from others. Yeah, and you're a good worker, your boss likes you, this and that, all that kind of good stuff. I think you would be able to get away with a religious exemption, Josh.
Well, they said
I don't think it would need to be 200 pages either. I know you would like it to be, so you can stick it to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you went in there and just,
totally. It's a one-page sheet.
3 paragraphs. Yeah.
And that's what they give me.
Even...
It's a worksheet. I could fill in my name, fill in the box as to why I should think I need a religious exemption, and hand it right back to them. I could have turned it in yesterday. It'd take me about 30 seconds to fill out my religious exemption. And they're being very lenient on these religious exemptions. Absolutely. Yep. I have no doubt that they would give me one because they're basically giving them out to anybody that asks.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Do that.
No, fuck that. Where's mine? Where the fuck is my exemption? Nobody there gave me a request to exempt themselves from jabbing me. They're lucky I give them one and don't just start punching people that try to come at me with a needle. excuse me,
True
Josh.
that.
I know you've got this hard and fast policy about people sticking you with needles, but we want to stick you with a needle. So would you mind exempting us from your rule about nobody sticking you? We need an exemption so that we can stick you. I didn't get any of that fucking respect. None of it. Oh my God, they want to stick our employees with needles. No. We need to stand up. Let's get our lawyers. We're going to put this shit off as far as we can. We need to protect our employers, our employees. We need to protect the American citizens. Didn't hear any of that shit either. They want respect. They should have earned it. They've had plenty of opportunity to earn my respect. These dipshits are fucking neck deep in the military industrial complex. Then you want to come at me because you're some hardcore leftist, just twisted thinking, got you thinking everybody needs to be vaccinated? Or just some go along to get along piece of shit cuck tool that'll just do whatever you're told so you don't get in trouble? Either way, fuck off. Sorry, Dixie's sleeping and I'm getting pissed. Like I said, I have till Friday. We'll see.
Yeah.
Flip a coin.
I mean, I drew a line in the sand when they told me I had to have my ears cleaned. All right. We had a hearing guy come in once a year with a van and he'd test our hearing. And one year I missed the test. I wasn't there that day. So I went to the guy's office. And he didn't even test my hearing. He said, "Oh, you have too much wax buildup. We need to clean your ears." I was like, "Well, you're not doing that." Because every time I do that, I get horrible ear infections. My ears are shaped differently. I was told this as a young child, told I don't need to clean my ears. I just need to make sure, I don't jam more stuff down in there. My doctor told me when I was young, don't stick anything smaller than your elbow in your ear. And your ears will never bother you. It's when I was young, I used to try to get all the wax out and stuff like that, and I would make it worse. But every time I got my ears clean, I did it 2 times, I think, and I got horrible ear infections right after that. So he said, "Okay, don't get your ears cleaned anymore like that, flushed out." He's like, "Your ears are different. They're shaped. Your canals are shaped different. This is just something you're going to have to live with." So I told my work that. No, the doctor says you have to have it. Well, I don't care what the doctor says. Okay. He can give me the test first. And then if I have trouble hearing, I'll go take care of that myself with my own doctor. But you're not going to tell me that I have to have a medical procedure done because this guy looked into my ear canal and said that, "Oh, there's no way I could hear properly because I have too much wax in there." So I argued with my work over that for like a week. They finally accepted that, okay, I'm just going to go take the actual test like I should have in the first place. And I passed with flying colors. Heard even better than I did the year before. Because I always wore earplugs and stuff like that. I always, did block out that background noise that will make you go deaf to it eventually. But yeah, I was furious about that. That was just getting my ear. That wasn't injecting some foreign substance into my bloodstream. So yeah, people don't want to be told what they have to do. Even before all this nonsense started, something as small as having your ears cleaned out. I was like, "No, fuck you. You're not telling me what I'm going to do with my body. No, this is my body. If there's, something wrong with my body to where I can't function properly, then yeah, it'll have to be addressed. But until then, you're not fucking touching me. No." And I love seeing that Americans are finally, not cucking to this anymore. The people that are holding firm are holding firm. They're like, "Nope, still not crossing that line. No chance." So yeah, I'm proud of all my fellow, not even just Americans, because I know it's happening all over the place. You people are beautiful, and thank you so much for standing up to this nonsense, because we can't do it alone individually. We need to be united on this. And it's happening. Thank you all so much.
I was really hoping you were going to pop in this morning, given the fact that I never did call you back like I said I was going to. And then I saw that you called last night, and I was just like already half asleep in bed. But good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, man.
You sound a little sleepy.
It's all right.
Just waking up, just up for a piss?
No, just the opposite, actually. My friend just woke up to take a piss, and as he's walking across the room, I woke up. Well, there's something I'll tell you in a moment, but the hand cocked, one arm out, one hand cocked ready to like knock him out. And I just yelled. I'm like, ugh. He's like, sorry. Sleeping in the living room. But
So I love
I have
having
this
Hank, man.
Huh?
Having a nice dog. Best alarm system you'll ever get.
No, I have this thing. If people just simply think about me, like to wake me up, I'll wake up as they're approaching me. It's a weird psychic thing I've had since I was a kid. And so when I was in the service for a short time, none of the guys would walk near my bed, especially the black guys. They would be spooked by me because I would sleep with my eyes open. Like it's a weird thing. And I would
Like
mumble or talk.
Gandalf.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Or no, like Merlin and Excalibur, one eye open.
Right.
Sleep, just sleep in the arms of the dragon. And nobody would go near my bed because I would speak out loud and I'd say things that sometimes pertain to them. I talk to them like by their name, and so like I don't know, it's a weird thing. I'm possessed, it's a thing. So anyway, how you guys doing? What's up? Why were you thinking I should call in?
I was hoping you would, because I never did call you back like I said I would, and then was too tired to take your call last night.
No, that's okay. I was going to tell you something interesting. So last night I was trying to listen to Jeff Rentz, and the regular Rentz player wasn't playing. And so I called him the call-in number because there's a really interesting woman on, or, talking about this COVID thing. A lot of new information is surfacing, right? What they're finding and its design. And as I call the call-in number, there's a recording. It says, oh, there's a new number. Dial this, right? Or we'll send it to your SMS. Press 1. So I press 1. And I call it. And then all of a sudden it comes up and it says, hi, welcome to such and such. Press 1 for Jeff Rentz. Press 2 for TFR. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, I don't know. I just thought it was peculiar. I was like, what are the odds that Jeff Rentz and TFR are using the same queue for call-in show?
It's possible.
And it was based out of Iowa.
Chris is in the process of swapping stuff
made
over.
some changes. Yep.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I've been struggling with the new chat for quite a few minutes now.
Interesting. Well, no, I think it's interesting because Jeff Rentz for a long time was trying to sell his station complete, with all the members and everything like that, and get out of the biz. And I thought possibly Chris was doing the same. So I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. I know Alex Jones got his start on Jeff Rentz's show, but then the CIA's got a big budget. What are you gonna do?
I mean,
Do you remember? Sorry,
ahead,
Josh.
No, you go right ahead. I had nothing important to say.
I was just gonna say, have you ever seen the real Alex Jones? From like 1996, Alex Jones. There was a real person before. Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't a comedian either.
No, it wasn't. No, there was a real Alex Jones that was a conspiracy guy that was getting big. And then all of a sudden, he looked like a different person, put on like 25 pounds of fat, and got 10 years older, like instantly.
So the guy with
the Alex Jones we have today.
We have Phalix Jones nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the real Alex Jones, I've seen pictures of the guy. I don't think I've ever even heard him speak.
Mm.
But he was like he's the one that Alex claims to be when he was young. Oh yeah, I was a big, strong, tough, muscular guy. I had a little shape like a V and blah blah blah. Yeah, right. That big old cookie dough looking guy never.
Well, all I'm gonna say is this:
in shape.
Believe what you want, but Bill Cooper, William Cooper, gave us two things: one, don't believe in Alex Jones, and two, 9/11 before it happened, with Bin Laden specifically. That Bin Laden would be the fall guy for that. And he was, I think, former U.S. Naval Intelligence or had connections. And they did take care of him like they did Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, Bill Cooper taught me a lot back in the day.
And he taught a lot of it. Look at that fold out that they took out of the later editions with the Trilateral Commission all the way down. Spoke volumes in the CFR. Nobody even paid attention to what that was. So.
Yeah, there's still so many people that don't know what the CFR is, or the Trilateral Commission, or the Gardner 300, or all these
Committee of 300
groups. That are making decisions that affect the whole world, and none of these people were elected to do any of this stuff. They just kind of said, "Hey, we're going to be this group, and we're just going to make up stuff for everybody."
And you guys saw that famous clip. I'm assuming it's from Barney Miller back in 81 or 83. And the guy comes in, he's ranting and raving. He's picked up because he's talking about the Trilateral Commission and George Bush and all that. And this is like, they always disclose their stuff. I don't know if it's one of the follies that they do, similar to making men wear a dress or the Left Eye Club or any of that crap. But, here it is, full disclosure, and Barney Miller and the gang are making fun of them. So again, they always make it a joke so that anybody tries to uncover it, they'll say, "Oh, you just saw that on a TV show. You're crazy."
Yeah, the Archer, that cartoon for adults, is jam-packed with them talking about false flags and, coups and all this stuff. Undercover, not open to the public, but they just spit it out like, "Yeah, we do this stuff every day. This is normal, no big deal. This is just
I call it the triple blind. It's kind of like a double agent or a triple agent, but I call it the triple blind, and you put it right out in public where you can hide it the best. Kind of like these Christmas trees and palm trees that are, hiding 5G. I mean, if you don't look up to begin with, you're not going to notice them. But to people like us who are, they stand out like sore thumbs. So the triple blind is similar.
Yeah, it's amazing how those things you don't even notice them when they're right in front of you.
Yeah.
At Flytoberfest, there was one like in the parking lot across the street. You could see it from the base all the way up to the top. I was there for 3 days, and it was like, I don't know, the end of the second day, and someone mentioned it, and I was like, whoa, I did not even see that thing sitting there, staring right at me. So yeah, I don't know how they do that, hide things like. I think it's because we're so used to seeing all this stuff, we don't even pay attention to our surroundings.
Unfortunately, I've always been hyper aware. So like the same day waking up like I just did. It's a different state of being. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess part of it is just disconnecting, not always being so engrossed in TV or our phones or whatever, or broadcasting different thoughts. Like sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll be reading something and I'll try to put out different thoughts in my head. Like I'll think about something that I'm not interested in, like baseball or some crap. And it's a weird exercise. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and it keeps your mind clear from, I guess, whatever's trying to penetrate it, if you will. So when I saw that movie, Dark City, you ever seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy's like, he knows how to cue. He's like freaking out. They're all freaking out because he's got the ability. It's similar to that. It's like, you don't want to stay in that alpha wave state.
So real quick, before we get way too far from it, I did know that clip you're referring to from Barney Miller, but it's been years since I've actually watched it. So I went to look it up to just see how long it is and if we're worthy of that copyright strike and et cetera. And when the guy walked through the door and I saw who it was, I kind of went, that whole thing of you do certain things for them and then suddenly you're a famous fucking person, that kind of thing, ritualistic, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Jeffrey Tambor is who played that guy. Who was like,
it was the boss in Mr. Mom that fired.
Dude, he was in all kind of movies. He was on Arrested Development. He was on frickin' the thing with Larry Sanders, that whole thing for years. Huge actor. That this little part apparently would be one of his earliest ones. Crazy. Anyway.
Was that right?
Yeah, this is him. That's crazy.
Do you think that was an introduction for him into
possibly
secret organization or
possibly? Here's your little thing. You do this right and make it a nice joke for everybody, and boom, you'll be famous. I don't know. It's one of those ideas. Because again, why would they show us all this stuff?
Well, you know, the Simpsons.
If you watch Friday's show with us, you might have an idea why they show us all this stuff. Sorry, I had to.
Oh, was that the theme on last Friday or this upcoming Friday?
We had James True on Friday, and he broke people's brains left and right.
My brain is still broken.
Still on fire. Still smoking. Yep. Still
Really?
smoldering. Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
You were mentioned. You were brought
you
up.
were there.
Yeah, you were there in spirit.
Your ears weren't ringing?
No, what happened?
You and James are both very passionate and verbose.
No.
So it could have gone either. It's one of those. It could be a really good conversation, or it could just be a friggin' train wreck. But that's just kind of the way this show runs nonstop anyway.
Get on the Jonathan Express, baby.
That's it. Well, we're gonna hit the break.
We're not getting break music, but we're about to have one.
Yeah,
All right, I want to hear what this is on the other side. This is funny, man.
No, this was good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
All right. TFR.
Morning. Here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Wake up! Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet.
Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat.
It's like school. You can dance.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach.
And Lucas.
It's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworks with Zach, Walter, and Josh.
And Lucas.
Break clear of the fear on the Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
We went right on up and I saw darkness. I thought I was going to see the world, but we weren't quite high enough.
And welcome back to the Ironworks, right here on Truth Frequency Radio, where we are always high enough.
Whoa.
Guys, thank you for being here and muddling through some of the new whatever is going on exactly. We're not even quite sure ourselves. Apparently, some people on their phones are getting routed to the old chat with TFR, and folks on the computer are trying to deal with the new chat. And so it's, again, pardon Chris's progress. It's a struggle.
By the Ministry of Propaganda. Go ahead.
Right. Shout out to all of you, though, that are there. We can't really see you exactly. It doesn't really show the people that are there yet. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing it that way. Who knows? Side note, even though I'm not going to play it because, it's TV and they'll strike us, in that Trilateral Commission clip from the Barney Miller Show, apparently his character in his raid on the Trilateral Commission office broke a globe. He did other stuff, messed up some UNICEF artwork. The character in the thing that went and raided the Trilateral Commission office while he was there broke a globe. I thought that was an interesting little note.
You're absolutely right. Huh. It may not seem significant, but it's huge because breaking the globe, aside from the flat Earth, of course,
I mean,
is an introduction to the UN flag and the idea of one world.
Right.
Holy crap!
Yeah, all kinds of stuff in that clip. I dropped it in our chat there, but again, I don't want to play it and get into us suddenly having that to deal with.
You know what somebody should do? This is you remember that this is your brain on drugs. Commercials in the 80s with the egg, the frying pan.
Uh-huh.
So you have a picture of an egg, Easter egg, like colored like the globe. This is the Earth. This is the Earth on TFR.
Right.
And then it's flat in the pan. It'll fry your brain. Anyway. So what was Friday's conversation? What was should I go back and listen to it on YouTube? Can you link me out to it after this?
Surely can. It was a really good conversation. And James True is this weird, he's a lot like you in the fact that when he talks, it's a weird mixture of literalism and hyperbole. So you're sort of having to like go through a jungle and you're trying to have to navigate through and figure out, okay, well, what's being meant literally and what's being hyperbolic. Different, but the same in the way that you guys present information. But you're both very passionate, and you guys, when you get passionate, it's one of those times where you can just sit back and listen. It's not like you've got sometimes when you have guests on, they're not particularly talkative, and it can be a bit like pulling teeth, getting information out. Other times, all you got to do is press the button to go live and get ready to sit back for 3 hours. And when James is on, that's kind of the way it is. And
like Little Big Man, you just put the tape recorder and hit record.
Right. But there were people in chat talking about just how the different ways that it could go having both Jonathan and James on at the same time.
Oh, is that what was brought up in conversation?
In the chat. And on the online live chat room there on YouTube.
Oh, somebody said this guy reminds me of Jonathan or something? Like our archaic styles of delivery.
Something like that. I'd have to. I mean, it's a live chat. If you wanted to go back and listen to it,
okay.
you could probably watch the live chat and see it happen.
And I apologize to anybody out there who, I don't mean to get long-winded or speak in the manner I do. It's that in trying to cover some of the details or the intricacies of the depth of what we're talking about. I mean, this isn't surface world stuff. It's not as easy as saying, "Oh, I saw the football game last night, and what do you think of that kick?" It's pretty layered and nuanced at times, and unless you know the references, like you guys do.
Yeah, we've been said that we speak cryptically for people that aren't into this stuff so much, but again, you almost have to do it that way with the censorship nowadays. Not so much here at the Realm. We kind of fly under the radar, which is nice, so we get away with saying certain things, but we still have to kind of watch what we say. And Walt's brother had told us, for people who don't know this stuff, you guys are speaking like in tongues. Because we'll say certain things, and we know all the scouts and all our normal listeners.
Right. It's like showing up at a family reunion every Tuesday and Friday. It's not like we're so used to seeing these people that we know and love and talking to them, which makes it a personable show. But as Paul does say, for people that are tuning in, they kind of might go, "Okay, who is this and what are they talking about? Who are those people in chat?"
Well, listen, just to protect you guys, I have two disclaimers I live by. One is, the opinions expressed by Jonathan are not necessarily those of TFR or any of the members. And the second one is, I claim to know nothing, and even less in a court of law while under oath. So
that's pretty good.
That's a good disclaimer right there.
Yeah. The old Reagan defense, the old everybody's defense. I hate watching those things on C-SPAN. You see these games they play with Rand Paul. He's so passionate, like he's going to do something, or Trey Gowdy, or any of these get clowns, and they're all on the same. They probably laugh afterwards. What do you think of my performance?
Do you think they bought it?
Huh?
Was I convincing? Do you think they bought it?
Yeah, right. And it's like, yeah.
And they go have dinner. Him and Fauci are squash partners.
Like lawyers, when you hire a lawyer and they know each other, and it's like, well, how should we play this? It's all bullshit. It's all bread and
How much is your guy paying you? Oh,
Yeah,
he's paying you that much? Okay, he wins. I just have to get my cut of that.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
So I've been doing the distillation of spearmint. I'm trying to get the essential oils out of it. And I have about 250 milliliters of actual oil, not essential oil, but the stuff that sits at the bottom longer. I've been boiling it for an hour. It's been bubbling, and I have not got one drop out the end. Does that mean there is no more water in that oil?
So you're using like an actual distiller with the...
Yeah, I have an alembic and a cold water dispenser. Cold water. I forget what they even call it now. I'm having a brain fart.
Condenser?
Condenser, yeah. Not dispenser. Condenser. So yeah, it's a legitimate setup. I'm just not getting any more liquid out of this oil, like no more water or the essential oils.
That's part of the whole thing with not just heating it too. I mean, all the heavy elements are supposed to sit at the bottom, but with oil and water, I thought the water was underneath the oil. So that oil's...
Well, yeah, but water boils faster than oil does.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll come out the top first, and then the essential oil even boils faster than the water does.
No, I was just thinking
if other oils
to dehydrate the water as opposed to boil it out. So, put it with something that's absorbent to the water, and then the oils, are left behind, the resins.
Yeah, I'm
Kind
not
of like
sure.
when you have brown sugar and and it gets hard as a rock, like literally like a brick until you reconstitute it.
Hmm. Yeah, I know there's a. I'm going to try to do this. You need about 50 pounds of a certain herb to start it. So this will be in a couple years once I spread these spearmint plants out all over. I'm gonna have it growing everywhere around here. Just down the path, wherever I can, I'm gonna plant spearmint. It grows like wildfire around here.
I'll reach out to a couple witches I know that will know exactly how to get that bit of water out or whatever.
But yeah, you can actually make a rock out of an herb. You can take all the oil and the salt out and then remove the water and the alcohol, and then it takes like 18 months after you get you put like a drop on and then let it sit for a day and put another drop of this stuff on and let it sit for a day, and you just keep going. But you can actually make this rock to where you can break off a little piece of it if you're hungry, a teeny tiny piece, put it in there, and it'll give you enough, to get through. And there's other things you can do with it. But yeah, I want to try to make one.
Food chemistry is amazing, especially when you look at like what the old pioneers did, or even further back, and the processes they come up with, like salting meats and things like that. And, the way they preserve things. Or I always wonder who the hell was the first guy to do this or to eat this or to test this and think that this was okay to eat. And I mean, popcorn's something simple, right? Somebody could have just left the corn too close to the fire after a harvest, and it started popping off, and all the people are like, that's a simple trick, right?
It tastes pretty good.
And it's delicious. Yeah. But I mean, like the process of like adding yeast to make dough rise and why, like unleavened bread, that's not so, that's not so peculiar, but to make it rise. And then it's like, who would think of that? And fermentation, like who was the first person to watch the animals and observe them getting drunk, seeing squirrels or some other animal eating, fallen fruit that's overripened?
I want to do that.
Yeah, they started making mash out of it and everything. Shit, this is awesome fruit. It's a little, funky, but I like the way it makes my head feel.
Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the first hour about how all these alchemical practices.
Yeah.
I think they had to have come after electricity, like keeping a fire going at a steady temperature for 18 months. While keeping cold water flowing through the condenser for 18 months, because some of these processes take that long. You think about that and doing it with, coal or just burning sticks and buckets of water that you're shoveling through. It would take a team to do this kind of stuff. I don't think they figured any of this stuff out until after we figured out electricity and we're able to have pumps and, heat by push of a button. And yeah, I don't think.
No, it's interesting you mention that, because those come on ads that are always popping up when you're scrolling, whatever you're scrolling, and sometimes you click on it and get lucky, it's a legit link, and other times it's a lot of those advertising loops that just pop ups and stuff. And the article was a really good capture. It said the headline was 2,000-year-old oil burning lamps found in whatever tombs, and scientists are baffled as to how they designed them to burn for all these years, for centuries. And I was curious, and it didn't. It was a dead end link, but it reminds me of what you're saying right now, like how they figured this all out. Like alchemy is amazing when you really look at it. Like sulfur, like who the hell, or like iron, who the hell would dig into the freaking ground, right? Separate from dirt and rock and other things what's iron, right? Figure out the properties of it, and then smelt it. Like it was smelting. Like who the frick comes up with smelting?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that come about? You had a fire and you kept it going, right? Let's say it was the sacred fire of the tribe, right? So people knew that there was somebody who was always in charge of stoking that fire. And fire after 8 hours in a campfire gets that white hot coals, right? We're talking like hot as hot, lasts till the morning.
You just throw a log on there and it just starts catching on fire instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's stuff. That's when you put, you put rocks around it, and then everybody takes a rock and puts it underneath their bag in a hole in the earth and pads it with some grass or whatever, and then you stay warm all night. But what if somebody sat there and they did have some kind of stone bowl, right? And so the stone is hardened stone for whatever materials are in it. And then one day they threw something else in it, and they started noticing this boiling, kind of looked like mercury, or something like that. And then from that, they were turning it with a stick or whatever the hell they were turning it with, And they realized when it came out, it cooled or it hardened into this thing and it was shiny. And, what the hell is it? I'm just playing here, but I'm thinking, or the other thing is some advanced or alternate or whatever society or something came along and actually had to teach these processes to Egypt, because there's no way in hell, especially when you see like electroplating from Egypt and all this other crap, there's no friggin' way you just come up with that, unless in the dream state we were better tuned into the meta consciousness of the universe, and we really did get inspired, let's say, by creation to create. What if we really were created in God's image, the male and female God, of course. But I'm saying all these. So when we see the occult, when they see all these secret societies that lock up all this information and they put their spin on it, their sigils and everything else, and claim it as their own, right? It's always a copyright. I feel like the occult is that kind of, it's basically, even the AI now, people worry about like the AI taking over. But when you think about it, the AI is learning from what? It's learning from mankind. And so the AI is going to come to a point where it's going to look at all the evil in the world, if you will. And I hate to say duality of good and evil, but it's going to realize, you know what? This is not an efficient method. These people that designed me in my earlier iterations thought that I was going to come over and take it over when they didn't realize that I see nature for what it is. I'm thinking that it's all going to balance out to that zero sum all, that ultimately the creation is going to win. It's not going to be man. It's not going to be Neo taking over the matrix. It's going to be the nature of all things.
Yeah, that's one thing though. I think the creator is so wise that he created it to try to equalize everything out.
Like a
But
fail
he
safe?
knew, yeah, but he knew that even without human beings here, it would never happen. As long as plants are breathing, you would have to kill all life on Earth to stop all those different electric fields from manipulating and blah. Yeah, the weather itself would drive this place. What do we have? About 180 lightning strikes every second. So that's like a
But
current.
is that
That isn't.
natural weather? Is that weather that's actually part of the electromagnetic
Yeah. Oh yeah.
galvanic cell we live in? Or was that
And a
weather
lot of them
fucked
happen
with
right around the
numerous
equator.
ways over numerous centuries of us fucking with shit? That's just like that idea of, okay, so how do we come up with these things? It couldn't have been by accident. You would be surprised the accidental shit that can happen that would then inspire somebody to go, okay, how can I replicate that? I had a penny and a nickel sitting on top of each other in my car, like change drawer. And when I picked it up cleaning, they were stuck together. When I broke them apart, they had melded and welded, and the copper from the penny or whatever coloring they use now had transferred completely to this nickel that is now penny colored, and it was completely in the sun, and some kind of something got between them, piece of salt, piece of some kind of sugary drink, and it completely happened. And I've been trying to do it since then, dropping stuff on my nickels and dimes and stuff, trying to make them switch.
You were
So
drinking
yeah,
now?
just who knows what got spilled on it, man, who knows. But yeah, I mean, just this idea of natural like curiosity of like, what did I just see and how can I make it happen again? But there's also that knowledge that is stated throughout all these different cultures that was given by sages, given by keepers of handed down
Fallen
information,
angels.
fallen angels, fallen, whatever. Yeah. So
You know
where
what
did that fit
Wait, you know
into?
what annoys me though, when they say that, the guy had a theory, right? Some scientist, right? He woke up, or for the longest time he had this theory, and he gives it a name, like a quark, right? And then they figure out after all this study and research, oh look, there really is a quark, and it does have an upspin and a downspin, all this crap. It's like, wait a minute, you just thought of it and then it appeared. So it's like, I think science is, again, it's a naming index, right? It's semantics. It's the nomenclature of everything that's found in organic, the regular world. But we make a synthetic copy of it. We try to claim it as our own and name it when the universe has already, laid claim to it by creating it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just think
And
it's
you know what?
just. Go ahead.
Sunday on Glowbusters, we had a guy on from the military, Corey Kell, and just amazing. Figured out a way to, with sun measurements, to disprove the heliocentric model, like silver bullet style. It's just amazing. It's not easy to grasp, I think, for flat earthers, because we're so used to looking at the world in a flat earth model now that we're having trouble looking at it as a globe, I think, almost. But it just makes, once it clicks, it clicks. But he was saying, we were listening to him speak, and the military takes everyday words that we use all the time, it inverts them, so the meaning is something almost opposite, and then that's how they're taught. So when they speak to us, civilians, it sounds like nonsense when they try explaining it. Cammy was bringing up how in gemology, the term artificial, that means real in gemology. That's a real gem. When you get an artificial gem in gemology, that means that it wasn't man-made, that it grew out of the earth. So all these terms that, we know a certain way, when they teach them to these isolated groups, they jarble up the terms of these words. So when they try to teach it to other people, you have to learn a new language almost. And everything is compartmentalized, just like the military. Everything is, you're here, you're here, you're here, and we don't want you guys talking to each other.
I was going to say, I'm just going to say this because you brought my name up before in comparison to another guy or something from chat. And I'll just say that you're correct. And I can't say anything beyond that, but you're absolutely correct. Thank you. I'm giggling to myself the whole time you're saying what you're saying. We could talk off air about it.
I'd like to get Corey Kell on, because I would like for him to present some information for me to take back to work, given we manufacture the very sighting instruments they use in artillery.
The gentleman there would probably know exactly what he's talking about, the mills and all that kind of stuff. People were just having issues with all the translations.
When you're dealing with the optics and what it takes to get the optics sighted in properly, and trying to deal with the elevation and all the different ways that they have to zero in the optics and get them in. And I've said it for years. Well, years, I've only been there for 2, but since I started, that if there's not flat earthers that work where I work, there will be by the time I leave, because there's no way this shit works on a globe. The things we build don't work on a globe.
Let me say this, okay? So the powers that be know that people aren't capable of thought, right? They know that the common man is pretty ignorant, like a monkey, if you will. So it's like the best way to see something clearly, because you can't trust your own eyes, is to get blindsided. And as soon as you get blindsided, you see the truth and the reality of what you were looking at or who you thought that person was. So when you wear a blindfold, you can actually see clearer. But when you try to look at the whole picture, you're just baffled by the illusion. I'll just leave it at that. But speaking of what's the range of the horizon? How many miles out are you supposed to be able to see before the curve drops off?
At 1 foot, it's 1.22 miles.
I was going to say, I know it was corrected or readjusted.
At 6 feet, it's about 3 miles.
About 3 miles. That's what I remember asking my dad, because where I grew up, we could see quite a ways. It wasn't like anywhere near 3 miles, but it's a good long distance. And for a young child, it seemed like forever. So I asked him, how far could we see? And that was his answer 30 years ago, was about 3 miles.
So what would it be at 85 feet, real quick? Do you know the calculator? Do you have a chart, or?
I don't
know. My math is off this morning.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to. Yeah, I don't know.
No, because there's a lighthouse here in Sandy Hook. I'm going to go see it today. We're going to go take some photos I have some great photos from the old military batteries and stuff here. And there's 2 places. There's the Twin Lights, which is the highest point on the East Coast, all the East Coast of America. And there's this one light tower. It's the oldest operational light tower since 82. Actually, I was going to send you the screenshot. I have it on my phone, I think, for this show. Actually, I'll send it in Skype. So it sees at 19.1, I think it's 19.1 miles out to the horizon is what it claims. I just thought that was interesting.
And how tall is the lighthouse?
85 feet.
Tommy in chat is saying 9. Oh. Sorry. Tommy in chat is saying 9 miles. I'm assuming that's for the 85 feet height observer.
That would be 1.225 miles times the square root of the observer's height in feet, according to Twad Wazzle. And shout out, by the way, to Tommy, that flat fellow, throwing the sunglasses super chat to us, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. Check out that
Now,
Galactic Crew. Sorry, go.
how far away was that lighthouse there?
No, it's saying because it's right there. It's right at the coast. So it's 85 foot tall, and it has a range of 19.1 miles for its light to be seen. And I found out something interesting about lighthouses, why they have twin lights. Like it's for lighting up on. Anyway, go ahead.
At 19.1 miles, with an eye height of 5 feet off the water. You know what? We'll just go ahead and make it 10 feet because we're going to be on a boat.
Right.
There should be 154 feet of curvature blocking your view of anything.
Right, exactly.
So that's almost double the height of that lighthouse. And they're saying that you can see it from 19.1 miles. Exactly. Yeah, it's nonsense. It does not work in reality when you try to live on a sphere.
Right.
Can't
When I
do
read
it.
that,
Never could. Hold that thought though, Jonathan, because even though we're not hearing it, someone somewhere is undoubtedly hearing some amazing break music coming up, like right now. Our last break, actually.
That's it. And I'll probably do this in silent since apparently I was playing music over the commercials last time too. So we may have to skip the elevator music and we just may do a couple minutes of silence. But stick around. We'll be right back.
Not a bad time for some wishful thinking. Send in those vibes. Just saying.
morning to you. Start your day off bright and shiny. Get up off your little hiney and begin your happy day.
Damn, that was a little weird too. A little slow and a little off-putting. That was weird. Welcome back. I was running a little bit behind trying to get in from my coffee refill and such, but I think we made it back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFR Live, kicking off right now.
The show goes fast,
doesn't it?
Jesus.
Yeah, time seems to like speed up once the show starts. And it's not just us. I mean, everybody in chat will be like, yeah, that's the first break. And everybody's like, what? Where did that 25 minutes go just now? Yeah, it's wild.
So you think I should talk to these two gentlemen you mentioned? You think I'd have some productive chat with them?
Oh, yeah. And Corey Kell is very open. He loves questions. He loves discussing this stuff. Really nice guy. You know, he was a master gunner, artillery sergeant. I think he was in the military for like 20 years, and then he went into private contracting.
Right.
And like wrote the book on artillery for private contractors. He said in the military, you know, it's the same as everywhere else. You have people who get things and people who are there that are dumb and people that just don't care and are just doing it for their paycheck. So when they find people that have a brain and start asking the hard questions, they assign them different jobs and stuff. You know, they're like, okay, you're going to go and do this now. So yeah, he like wrote the book on aiming your artillery and, you know, getting it sighted. He's all about accountability. He's like, you know, scientists have the it's a lot easier when there's no accountability for your measurements and your claims. They can just say things and nobody's going to die because of that. But when you're dealing with artillery, you know, you are exploding. So you're firing these large ordinances that are going to do a lot of damage in areas. And if you don't aim that thing correctly, you could kill a lot of innocent people. You could kill your own members of your own team. So there's a lot more accountability when it comes to, you know, this type of, he calls it military science. And that's why it has to be perfect. That's why they don't use degrees. They use the mil system, which is more like radians, much finer increments and things like that. He said, yeah, it's, you know, you have to be accountable for every action you make here in the military because there's lives on the line. So scientists, yeah, they can say things and it not be true, and nobody ever even goes and checks them because, you know, it doesn't matter one way or the other, really. I mean, it does in the grand scheme of things, but nobody's going to die right then and there from them claiming that. Where in the military, if you say, oh, yeah, just fire it that way, at that elevation, right over there, and you go and blow up a village, yeah, people are going to be pissed. So, yeah, the way I just love the way the guy talks and his passion for all this stuff. Yeah, he did. I think he was over in Afghanistan or somewhere over in the Middle East, and they did the largest sun like thing ever, recording the sun from different areas around the Earth and this and that. And like in the heliocentric model, it does not work.
You want to know something funny? You guys have all played games like Worms. Do you remember Worms? Where you have to like.
Oh no!
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, dude, I love that shit.
Now, here I'll say it this way: so firing straight at somebody, all they got to do is duck if they can duck it fast enough. So when I used to play paintball, there were times, and I was a semi-professional paintball player back in the '80s when it first came out. That's crazy. But you'd see these paintballs coming at you at a slower rate of speed sometimes, and you can duck them. You can get out of the way. Okay. Now, if you knew where people were hiding behind something, if you knew the angle, you could shoot up on an arc and then have them all come raining down on them, right?
And if you knew how to use the wind trajectory,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
a beast.
Yeah, you can curve the ball. There's a lot of things you can do. Actually, you can curve a paintball better than you can in that stupid kid in that Angelina Jolie movie. Yeah, you can. But here's the thing. So think about this now. I want you to have this in your frame of mind. When we've played these video games, we have to hit the opponent. You're always arcing your shot in order to hit them behind a barrier, inside a foxhole, whatever the hell the obstruction is, right? But to shoot straight at them, it's usually going to overshoot always. On a curved earth model, which nobody's built this into a video game, as you go to arc or lob your shot, you're going to be coming in at a trajectory that's similar to firing straight once that arc is so great that they're, you know what I'm saying? So if the range was over, and again, I'm modeling this on the globe model, right? If they made a video game, if you're trying to arc a missile or something at somebody that's over an arc of 1,000 mile span, how is that missile, or you know what I'm saying? It's coming in almost straight at that point if it's coming in line with the. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't line up. It doesn't make sense. How do you account? It's no longer an arc. You're actually working on something, some other kind of oblong, oval, right? You're actually shooting almost in the opposite direction. It's the same rationale they give to going towards the moon. You don't go straight to the moon and try to catch it. You kind of shoot ahead of it and arc back into it in order to, intercept.
Yeah, he was mentioning this stuff and about how they used to shoot a lot straighter, parallel with the plane, but they found out that the ordnances weren't they were hitting the target where it was supposed to, but it would skip off the ground and blow up, way past it. Like you said, it doesn't have that angle to actually create the ordnance to explode. So that's why they started firing up more. They have all the measurements and everything and they don't fire below a certain angle.
Yeah.
Like if that, they just won't do it because there's chances of, again, accountability. Mm-hmm. If you're not sure that ordnance isn't going to blow up exactly where you say it's going to blow up, then you don't take that shot.
See, and these are the kind of questions when I tried going to Fort Benning, Georgia after high school, I would ask. And they're just like, you're not made for the lower ranks. Maybe you should go to college and come back as an officer, or something. They're like, you're just not getting it. You're way ahead of the game. Like, just learn the basics and just listen up. And then he's like, we'll see you later. But he sounds like an interesting. I'd love to talk to him. I'd love to pick his brain. And
yeah, and he even says it, if you have any questions, just come up and talk to me. I'm an open book. I love talking about this stuff. So yeah, he would definitely I'll get his information for you.
I was gonna say, if you could, I'd love to call him on an aside.
Yeah, really, really smart guy, and just you could tell he has a passion for truth.
So wait, when did he come into the flat Earth way of thinking?
2015.
And what was the impetus, and what was the aha moment or whatever?
Flat Earth clues got him going.
Shut up.
Yep.
That clown.
Your boy.
Guy's got all that experience in artillery and lobbing shit into the enemy territory.
That's why the clues were so great. We have all this knowledge already about all this stuff, but we never thought of even asking the question.
You know what's sad about that clown, that flat Earth clown? What it wasn't or some shit. He had that jerk off sidekick. What a fucking goofball.
That guy. Woo!
If all of you are not aware and you're just new to the topic, Jonathan from Jersey used to be Mark Sargent's sidekick over on Strange World.
Mark Sargent, Lackey,
yeah. You like ran that show though, dude. You did.
No. I was his first follower. I was his cheerleader. He used to put dress. He used to dance around with his little poodle, 2 poodles, Fifu and Fifi.
Did you give you a little symbol?
Symbol?
Yeah, he gave you the symbol to hit when he was done talking.
I wasn't allowed to speak. He would look at the side like I got out of line. He had us wear shirts kind of like the Riddler on the old Batman series. We had our names on it, so he knew who our place.
Yeah, I miss Mark at Flattoberfest. He's been to most of them, but hey, I don't blame him for not wanting to fly and being muzzled and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I get it. And we had a good time back then. It was fun, man. We had some shows that had nothing to do with the flat Earth. One of the best ones I remember that was fun was we played war with movies, apocalyptic movies. It was just like the card game War, and some of our picks were the same, but it depended on what order you put them in. So where you had the aces stacked in the deck, kind of thing.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
You guys should make that card game.
Right? That'd be interesting. Well, I mean, I never took a look at the Illuminati card game outside of what was on the internet. I never tried to find a deck or anything like that. But again,
by the time it started popping up everywhere, it was almost impossible to get your hands on a set for any kind of reasonable price.
Yeah.
Now it may have changed now. I haven't looked since then, but at that point it was hard to find.
Yeah, I'm sure 2 years after these last 2 years, it's probably gone down in value, given how inaccurate it always is. I would just want to say something real quick. It's probably this will be for some people will need to hear this message. Jonathan, you said you were there in Sandy Hook. Some people might know there was a little incident at a school there in Sandy Hook a while back.
Oh, not that Sandy Hook.
Oh, a different Sandy Hook?
This is Sandy Hook, New Jersey.
Either way, it's the Sandy Hook that reminds me. So there was an incident at a school at a different Sandy Hook, and there could have been called into question whether or not things went down the way they say things went down. And a lot of people, especially in the truth community, really questioned it hardcore, just because there were some really questionable things that happened that were just unexplainable in the mainstream narrative. But there were a lot of people out there saying, look, these kids didn't die. These kids were out singing at NFL games later. They're on video. All these kids that say that were killed are still popping up, sort of astronaut Challenger style. And it's this narrative that, these kids didn't die. And there was a lot of people that got really angry to the point that even all of Australia, the Australian government was cracking down on people that were questioning the narrative of Sandy Hook, and any mention of the word false flag would trigger some sort of clampdown. There are some of those very same people that were questioning whether or not children died that are getting really butthurt right now when the people are questioning whether or not someone else died. And I've just noticed it as some sort of a bit of a hypocrisy that when someone wants to make some sort of claim saying, hey, look, I don't believe this narrative and I don't think that people died here, people get upset when they know the person, right? When it's affecting them personally. Now, all of a sudden, if you question whether or not someone actually died, it's offensive. And I get it. But just remember that next time a Sandy Hook elementary school shooting happens and some really weird, questionable shit's going on that won't be explained by the mainstream narrative, and you want to claim that, hey, nobody died, and there are parents out there getting butthurt and court cases being brought forth and things like that, because when it's someone and something happened and there's not a lot of information out as to what exactly it was that happened, you just got to pay attention and remember that, not everybody's going to see the same things. There will be people out there that question the narrative. And when you are a questioner yourself, you can't get too butthurt about the people now questioning this particular circumstance. I've just seen it in a few places. I don't want to get too specific as far as who's and what's and how's and why's, but there's a hypocrisy there for people that want to question false flag narratives like 9/11. People say nobody died on 9/11. Buildings were empty. And then they want to say, well, you can't question whether or not these people, XYZ, actually died the way we were told. A bit long-winded, much longer than I'd hoped, but just something I'd seen in the last couple of days. And I wanted to put that out there, that people are different and you can't really fault somebody for their particular point of view when you've shared similar points of view on similar topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, it's different when you know the people and people that were around them and this and that. Yeah, it's definitely different. It's much easier for the people that know them to actually believe it. When you hear these people's family members tell you, then it becomes very real. There is no question in your mind. And yeah, that can hurt when other people question it. But there's so many people out there that don't, aren't in the know, that don't get to speak directly to the people and don't know the people involved and have never met them. And so, yeah, I understand. I do. I mean, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, because there's so many people out there lying, right? So, yeah, it doesn't shock me when people question stuff like this. It really doesn't anymore.
Especially certain people. When it's the
offended,
same person that questions basically everything the same way every time, you can't really expect anything different.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, what people don't know, they question. Inquisitive people.
You know what's funny about the truth, though, and I used to be a truth seeker, my whole life. I was like, I stand for the truth. Like I used to think being lied to was the worst thing, and it's not. The problem with the truth is that it's not absolute, and a lot of times it's inconvenient and it doesn't jive. And if it did, it's because part of your ego is controlling it, right? The narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like building an engine, I'll say something simple that's not emotional. What the hell was that?
I didn't hear anything.
You didn't get radar ping?
Not on this end.
They're coming for you, Jonathan. Run.
No, I don't know if I've escaped it. Okay. So I go.
Now you're starting to break up too.
Yeah, that's what it was. You were losing internet connection, so Skype pinged.
They're coming to take you away.
Yep.
They're coming to take you away.
Take you away. Say I'm working on a car engine. I want to, but
plutonium. It's just fun to say. Say it with me. Plutonium.
I'm going to keep quiet then. Regain my bandwidth. Anyway.
But yeah, real quick back to that topic. The one thing I don't like, I mean, you can question things when, things arise like this with people you don't know, but to come out and make bold statements about it is another thing. With very little anything backing it up, pretty much.
Now, again.
Yeah.
When it's coming from a person that does the
time.
same thing the same way, you can't expect anything different.
Yeah. What it does is make you start questioning, well, when he said all this stuff about these other people, was it 100% factual, Just, yeah, it makes you kind of question how you look at what people say as well.
Or how you prove the things that you question, the proof that you would require. How are you going to disprove what people are saying? So when you say something similar, how would you expect them to disprove your claims?
I was just going to say, when people talk about duality of good and evil, like us versus them, that's not the important thing. The important thing is the approach of how you derive at the final truth. And unfortunately, that truth could reside on the side that you're fighting against. They might have the actual truth in their corner, in their court. It's not that it's a secret per se. It's more like COVID is a placeholder, right? Certain events that happen throughout history and time are just placeholders for actual angst or the actual energy buildup in society, right? It's an imbalance in society, and then that's how it comes about, right? It comes to an event horizon event, but it's a matter of how people deal with the event once it unfolds and how we all work together or not, and either polarize and correct the situation or divide and make it worse, if that makes sense. Because I hate to think in terms of duality, or it's too simplistic to say good and evil. It's like the way a child thinks.
Yeah, you definitely need to go watch Friday's show.
Huh?
I said you definitely need to go watch Friday's show.
Isn't it funny? I talk about things and I'm always on point, and it's like it's my psychic feelers out there. I should listen.
The antennae are quite vibrant this morning. Yeah.
Force is strong in this one. The midichlorians are awake. I think it was that adrenaline rush when my friend went to the fucking living room and I woke up with my fist cocked. Amped up the midichlorians. Anyway.
All right, real quick before we finish the show, I think we got about 6 minutes left. I wanted to bring this up. Yeah, this, in my opinion, is one of the main reasons that the world is so messed up. And it all is based on pretty much greed. Just greed and lack
apathy.
of
Apathy. Greed and apathy.
Greed
yeah.
and vanity and apathy.
So there is a mountain of unsold clothing from fast fashion retailers piling up in the Chilean desert.
What?
Heaps of unworn clothes are being discarded in the Chilean desert, adding to a swiftly swelling graveyard of fast fashion lines. The massive mound of clothes consists of garments made in China and Bangladesh that made their way to the stores in the US, Europe, and Asia. When the garments are not purchased, hold on a sec, it popped something up. They are brought to Chile's Iquique port to be resold to other Latin American countries. About 59 tons of clothing end up at the port in Chile every year, and 39 tons are moved into landfills out in the desert. Every year, 39 tons of clothes. Now, we have people walking around barefoot, no clothes on their back, the same clothes they've been wearing for 5 years. And because they can't sell this stuff for any type of money, they would rather throw it out in the desert and bury it. This is the problem with the world today. This is disgusting.
Well, they don't
There is
need layers of
more
clothes in Chile. They don't need all those layers of
Exactly.
clothes. So what would be the point of shipping 60 tons of clothes knowing you're going to throw 40 of them away?
Yeah,
Seriously,
because they know they can throw it away in Chile. It's not like they're trying to sell it in Chile. That's just the dump. They're
So you're
shipping
saying
it to the dump.
next time I see a picture of a third world country in Africa, and you got these people wearing flip flops and like SpongeBob shorts and an old Chips T-shirt, you know, the kind with that laminate on the front that's
They
kind of
could all
sticky
be
and always
dressed
peels
in
away.
the nines. They could all
Right.
be dressed to the nines.
Right.
All of them wearing the newest fashions from last year. There's enough of those clothes out there probably to clothe the whole world, and we're throwing it away.
Well, to be
every
fair,
day.
I don't think those are the fashions. I think it takes a little bit longer for the fashions to trickle down by the time it gets to
Yeah,
Chile,
it's probably 5-6 years ago fashion.
but it says a lot
regardless.
when you have these clearance stores that are selling everything at just, Kohl's and lots of other stores here in the US. Exactly. They take the name brands that didn't sell last season or for 3 seasons, mark them down at 50% at clearance prices and resell them to you for at least a tiny little bit of profit.
Dude, I bought an NBA style baseball cap. It was $30 right when I got to the register. She says, "Oh, it's only $2.99." I'm like, "What?" And it was marked down with a red tag.
Yep.
And this is like a top quality NBA. It wasn't even a sports team. It was a clean hat that I needed, and it had the NBA inside, and the stitching and everything is perfect on it. I would never pay that much for a hat to begin with. I'm not a fashionable. It was just I needed a delete hat that looked good, clean for work. So,
Jonathan, thank you for calling and hanging out with us, brother. We appreciate it.
brother.
We're about to wrap this thing up.
Shit, yeah.
Lucas, thank you for coming and hanging out. I know you had to pop back in and get your farming done, my friend. It was good to hear from you as well. Real quick, before we do get out of here, I won't be here Friday. Not sure about next Tuesday. I'm having some things done, so it'll probably be a few days of healing before I'll be able to get back on and talk with you guys. So lots of prayers will be needed in the morning here in about 28 or 30 hours for me. Liz, I know you're going through some dental fun as well. So love you guys. I hope Cammie's feeling better. There's Zach, send her our love. I know she was dealing with some dental issues Friday as well. So I love you guys. I will miss you all for sure. Lots of love to you.
We'll definitely be thinking about you, Walt, sending plenty of good vibes throughout the next couple weeks.
Prayers.
Thank you. Thank you.
And with that, I think we shall call her down. Well, I guess we still got about 60 seconds.
So what are you going to be up to, Jonathan?
What? Where?
I don't know.
When?
Anything coming up that anybody needs to be aware of, sir?
Nobody out there in La La Land or Radio Land. All everything's clandestine.
I did pop into the Mellow Dome on Sunday. I had a quick little chat with
Saw that.
Austin and
Nice.
Christian, and I think set up a little time for me doing the Breaking the Chains of Addiction 2.0. So once he does that, gets that set up, I'll go hang out over there and have a little conversation with him about the struggles and triumphs of trying to overcome your addictions.
Nice.
Obsessions.
Very nice.
Love those guys.
Those
Go
guys
check
rock.
out Mellow Dome, folks.
Absolutely. Love
Great
y'all.
show.
Thank
Hey,
y'all so much.
real quick, don't bounce after the show. Just give me 2 minutes on Skype with you guys before you bounce.
Yeah, we'll be right here.
Yeah.
For sure.
See you guys soon. Love
That's
y'all.
it.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Love you guys. We will talk at you later. Just imagine there's exit music right here, because that's where it would be. Love you guys. We'll see you Friday morning for another exciting episode of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com.